something special for you.
This is unbelievable.
On the 21st and 22nd September, Premier League is open for you to enjoy. Experience a friendship like no other with 8 live games on GoTV Plus and up. Get closer to the game with expert analysis, live match commentary, only on SuperSport on GoTV. Love it.
If you play a game of power,
Chelsea is rich.
I didn't lie to you. I only withheld the information.
Any minute I get, I'm going to tell Chelsea.
be prepared to lose it all.
I'd rather be buried alive.
Damalai makes her boldest power play.
Very dramatic.
In season 2, Monday to Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Only on Pal Magic Prime. DSTV channel 148, GoTV channel 303.
Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, we'll be back from the break exactly 2 minutes past 8. Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi, your host this morning. And of course, this is the right time where we get into a very important aspect as we explore that is the inspiration moments. That is for the young and the vibrant entrepreneurs. And they are very key to, most especially when it comes to what decisions to make at what stage of business growth. And when we follow those that have gone ahead of us, it's quite very easy and it's quite impactful. The mistakes they made, we actually encourage them to make them so we can learn from some of the quotes were actually made as a result of the mistakes that they had encountered. So it's important that these mistakes are not repeated once again, by getting to have insight into what they believe business management is all about. Let's get into this inspiration. That is Juliana Rotich, who believes that what she thinks is that whenever she's thinking about a business, she's thinking about who is she helping. In other words, she's trying to take us into the line of looking into solutions what do you have to offer to the community that you'll still be relevant to their existence. So that is Julia Rotich. Now, heading into other quotes that we have here, we have something in here from Abraham Maslow. He's one of the famous, he was a great orator and very knowledgeable, Abraham Maslow. Now, he says that you will either step forward into growth or you will step back into safety. Yes, you will either step back into growth or step back into safety. In other words, it's trying to bring in a scenario of being in some kind of a comfort zone, and when you get into that comfort zone, you'll definitely step back. So he says you will either step forward into growth or you will step back into safety. So if you want to play it safe, well, then you may actually not be in position to get it. Of late, they say there is a saying that actually is being put across, most especially for the various online traders. They keep saying that risk is the new normal. Yes, risking is the new normal. So if something is not risky, then you're wasting time. Don't really go for it. This is just a school of thought. It's not financial advice, but in some kind of a way, you can play with it and get to understand the gist and the context of which it holds. All right, now as we proceed along, we take a look at another quote. This is Heraclitus. He says that big results require big ambitions. Yes, ambitions. So what are you ambitious about? And ambition starts at attained age. The better. Of course, it can always, with time, but the better. The ambitious you are when you're still young will determine what kind of result you will have. And so many times I keep asking myself questions. If you take a look at most of the people that have actually dominated this world for some good time, you take a look at the likes of Napoleon, Hitler, the people that were so known into history. And of course, even here in Africa, where we had the pharaohs taking precedence, we had big kingdoms like the Mali Empire with the kings such as Mansa Musa. What made these kingdoms really be so outstanding? But when you get to study the lives, the individual lives of these people that were actually associated with these emerging civilizations and they became great people, the ambitions they had were quite too extreme. You know, what they wished, what they dreamed about, what their confessions were all in line with what they became. So, in other words, they knew what they wanted in life, and they were willing to pay anything, and they weren't willing to let any person put them off the course. So, big results require big ambitions. So, regardless of how, if you have weak ambitions and you're energetic, chances are high that you won't still make it as you anticipate. But ambitions, if you're too ambitious but less energetic, the ambition will actually drive you to find to think of innovative ways you can execute any task ahead of you. And I think that is something that every person needs for their personal growth and development. Now, another quote that we have here comes in from Nora Roberts. She says that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So in other words, it's talking about raising up your self-esteem and always try to find out the answers that you're trying to search. So if you're afraid to ask, then you're missing out on the key facts that are actually very crucial for your growth and development as an individual. All right. Now, George Lucas here, we are going to view a maximum of at least 10 quotes. We shall be doing that every other day. We have the quote of the day as smart means business, but then I can always come up with my own quotes as my opinion of how we can really maximize this moment. Now, of course, George Lucas here says, always remember, your focus determines your reality. Yes, your focus determines your reality. Yeah, that is something from George Lucas. And I think it is something, it's not just motivational speaking, I'll say, because these are things that have actually been practiced and witnessed by some of these individuals. Despite the fact there has been something that has been going on, there is a rise of so many motivational speakers, actually. Let's talk about this too, most especially on the internet, on different platforms, on YouTube. And these people come and they speak to you, all these possibilities, and yet they actually don't live the realities they claim on any platform. They don't. So I think as we still explore some of this, I know we always look for inspiration in various ways and in various formats, but it's quite key and important to always use the wisdom to understand which pattern, because when you're following someone's words of wisdom, if you tell, let me say in a business-related advice, it's quite important to also observe the pattern of his life. You know, is he living the realities he's actually confessing on a given platform? Is perhaps if you are to financially profile him, he's actually not worth listening to. So that is something that we need to be careful. There is a huge rise of this industry of motivational speakers that come and claim, and they will always even make confessions. Conferences, not confessions. They make conferences, and people pay for tickets to actually attend these conferences. So motivational speaking seems to have become like another business. If you get to realize, every person feels like they can motivate people, but if you don't leave the pattern of the words that you explain, I would think you don't have the right to speak. So let's always watch the patterns of the people. Actually, on my side, the person who makes the quote is more important than the quote itself. Because if you're not living the realities of what you tell people on any platform, then you're lying to them. You're lying to them. You may not, because you get to realize that sometimes people that seem to make a lot of money, when you listen to their words of making money, their words of wisdom, they are not really complex. You know, we've never seen the likes of Elon Musk come out and they're teaching people how to make money. It's rare. They'll definitely hint on something, but they won't come on a platform and say how to make $1,000 into $50,000 in 2 months. You'll never hear that. But People who are worth $10,000, whose net worth is $10,000, they are quite pretty confident that they can assure you that you can be in position to transform $1,000 into $100,000 in 2 days. So we need to be careful. Honestly, we need to be careful by some of these inspirations that we get. And the people really making this, and it's very quite common, most especially people that are trading in online businesses, forex trade, and so many more. These, I mean, so much of motivational speaking, but they are not living the patterns of what they speak. And I think that's the most important. Elon Musk doesn't have to tell me how to turn $1,000 into $50,000. In most cases, I can say is temporal. It just makes you excited for. So impact empowers, motivation excites. So that is something that we need to put we need to draw the line of contrast that way. So should we say, do most of our public speakers, are they simply motivating people? Are they simply exciting people? Or are their words empowering people to actually do something? Empowerment, that means somebody speaks a word and you get out of your comfort zones and make the hardest business decisions. You meet the people you are afraid to meet. And these are the people that actually have your destiny, your business fate. But we are afraid. So he says, if people like you, they'll listen to you. But if they trust you, they'll do business with you. So that is in line with WAX. That is impact. Now, Tony Hayes here says that chase the vision, not the money. The money will end up following you. This is true. Don't chase the butterflies, but pursue that object that attracts the butterflies. Simple. This is Tony Hayes saying that. Now, Dave Thomas says that, what do you need to start a business? He says that there are actually 3 simple things. He says, know your product better than anyone, know your customer, and have a burning desire to actually succeed. These 3 principles accompany the need to start a business. Knowing your product better than anyone, know your customers, and have the burning desire to succeed. This relates to what we said, that big results are determined by big ambitions. Something to really ponder and look into. Now, Richard Branson still here comes again and tells us to not be embarrassed by our failures. He says, don't be embarrassed by your failures, learn from them and start up again. Yes, Richard Branson, we have always been encouraged to forget that And then Gary, this is Varinicek, says that please think about your legacy because you're writing it every day. Every day you live, you are actually writing a legacy. In other words, you a book. People read you. They read you by your results, not by what you speak. You know, results are always speak louder than actually you trying to speak, and you're trying to act like you have the results which you actually don't have. That means you'll need a lot of words to articulate what you have to articulate. You see that is something very important to also understand. You write your legacy on a daily basis. Now, Jim Rohn here says, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Yes, one of my mentors told me that the world is harsh for mediocres, but down below there is a lot of people, there is a lot of crowd, and every person is actually fighting with the desire to head to the top, but they are afraid to make certain decisions. So because they're afraid and they are joined with another millions of people in the same category, we have many people that are afraid to make certain hard decisions. Now, because of that, they are stuck in a realm of mediocrity. So this is what Jim Rohn was emphasizing, that if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you will definitely have to settle for the ordinary. Yeah, that is something that he mentioned out there. The second rule is not to forget. Of course, Jim John also, let me also hint on him briefly, who says your future. Yeah, that is Jim Rohn. And we see here Thomas Edison, who says the value of an idea lies in the using of it. Yeah, space. The innovators that have actually been in position to it's another for that innovation to actually have impact to the end intended user. You may feel good about the programming, you put all these codes together, you have this very amazing interface, and you're talking about your application. But the question is, that is what is most important, and that by the person that is using it, not what. Andy Rooney here says that everyone wants, trust the process. Andy Rooney here says that one customer well taken care of could actually be more valuable than $10,000 of advertising. Traditional advertising, you pay platforms, you pay the different influencers to push. The greatest advertisement you can ever make for is already advertising for you. You won't spend a lot of money in advertisement. How you treat the first customer. This is according to Jim John. It's not my opinion, it is according to him. Now, Malcolm is for knowledge and full knowledge about a subject. That is what everybody's actually looking at. Now, Susan Oman here says that a big part of financial freedom is having your heart and mind free from worry about what ifs of life. This is frittered away by detail. Simply simplify. That is interesting. Let me wind up with Walt Disney. Walt Disney. This is because this. Oh my goodness! This is a quote from Walt Disney. Money to make more movies. So think about that, and I think when I kickstart off with the entertainment segment, we're going to build from this line. Really, we're going to build from this line. Let's take a break.
Smart 24, driving business.
All the football on DSTV Cutback for only 110,000 shillings per month.
Uganda fire! Uganda!
Uganda! Thank you for
showing your fire as Uganda Cranes showed Congo why nobody is called a Katino. Mayuwa wa mubiri Gabulicho. Katika Uganda Cranes 6 on South Sudan on the 11th of October. Bring more fire and support even harder Nambole. Dial star 165 star 20 hash or go to buy ticket on the Momo app to get your discounted ordinary ticket at 20k on Momo. And it comes with a free train ride to Nambole. Cash is 25k. Game starts at 7 p.m. The first 2 nail special beers go for 1k each when you buy with Momo at MTN Gavut Day. Uganda Cranes fire! MTN fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda's football. Together, truly unstoppable.
Amabara nibanyetaye baziwe Rusiya Nyenduga Kyegegwa district kabanda sambaire ninkora umurimo gwa saluni mazire waito omkyegegwa yeja yampikaho yagamba aliyo project ebakweta grow gundi World Bank bagambire kasero yabakazi abali mbyara bena ma business gebye mikono babayene nayo naikiriza yampandika era nkasemerwa muno nizire hano mazire ho kwezi kumu nyegere kukora za dreads zimbaire ntamanyire abantu babani bazinsaba muno ntakuzimanya naiga kukora makeup era n'abandi begere bankoraho ka makeup hati ninjagarukayo nge uyivuze okora n'engaro nja kusoma nja kubundafuna cyasi nja kutunga n'abantu abari mu cyaro ze bakatisera bakatuhereza aliaga amagezi nayo ntagayikarira nyenka ebintu bimwe yarucyatitigaliyo government bwe kutuyambahe katera ya masanyarazi ntugisaba Kyegegwa tuliyo baitu tuina masanyarazi ekiriyaho government bwe kutuyambe katera ho mukone katera ya masanyarazi tunzikurakurana kandi ekichweka nkisemera so ni malira kusima Malaika Institute okutusomesa n'abegisha baitu na project ya grow na World Bank kuteka musente bebale muno.
Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
So first of all, I must congratulate thanks to the patriots, thanks to everybody that fought to ensure that Uganda attains our independence. Who believes that this country propose to everybody out there to think about independence in different forms: political independence, financial independence. You can be independent in very many forms, but perhaps one of the most important ways for you to be, I believe that this would be attained by people starting jobs. These jobs allow people, they demand for products and services, which stimulates production, and then we see an economy growing, and then we become economically independent. Today, I see that we are reliant on, especially, I see that we are reliant on a lot of imported, we are asking somebody out of Uganda to give. We can actually identify those opportunities here locally, we exploit them, and we are going to give jobs to our people. So the enterprising spirit is one of the things that I really want. Independence, there has been tremendous improvement in entrepreneurship in Uganda. We have seen people take advantage of opportunities. We have seen local entrepreneurs emerge. We can talk about some local. At independence time, we didn't have many indigenous Ugandans running businesses. Of course, when Idi Amin sent away the Indians, that was the first time when we saw now Ugandans, entrepreneurial countries around the world, with a total entrepreneurial activity of 30%. That is good. But what you have started, and this is where we have a challenge, financial management. They have poor understanding of market needs, besides the environment within which they operate. So, an improvement in the quality of the businesses that are started. Businesses that are high value and high impact. Meaning that when I start a business, I should be able to create value, and that value, I should also be able to impact the society, so that my business makers, and I mean, I must congratulate government. There's been a lot, there are quite a number of initiatives, funding, training, providing innovation hubs where entrepreneurs can use, they can share facilities, produce, get incubated until when they go to the market. We need to do more in terms of understanding the real needs of the entrepreneur and getting that entrepreneur to do what they have to do. A lot of times there has been a problem of access to finance, where many entrepreneurs are challenged. They are able to start, but when it comes to scaling the business, they have challenges accessing affordable finance for them to grow their businesses. The different government agencies that are supporting entrepreneurs to continue with a much more understanding of the needs of the entrepreneur, especially the ones at the grassroots. We have a very large number of businesses, micro, small, and medium. Would love to see more large enterprises emerge. The other thing I want to commend government on is, especially in the area of in the late 1990s. Now, we would like this to go down to primary school, to secondary school, so that our young children, as they go through entrepreneurship, is now being taught. Perhaps we need to look at theory. And the beauty is that in the new secondary school curriculum, lower secondary school curriculum, we have young people working on projects. They learn in class, but they also work in projects. And this is a very good first step. What we now want to foster much more is the spirit of creativity and innovation, so that when they're working on a project, they use great innovations that will take this country forward.
Is my joy. Ono bulu magiki wange. Ayo. Nalaba kumabala atukuza nonyirira okirako enyange. tayisa bubi fabriki chonna chechiri chigwa bulu magiki ye wange and bulu magiki is my choice hey ono bulu magiki ye wange
Smart 24, driving business.
As we undertake taking a look at the latest developments that are happening, where of course England lost to Greece by interim manager, that is Lee Castley's all-out attacking strategy backfired badly as they actually slumped to a shock of a defeat by Greece in the UEFA Nation. Rescued yesterday, disappointing England display after Vangelis gave Greece a deserved lead, that is with a compassed finish 4 minutes into the second half. Now Greece responded on a Chester, that is Hurricane. Castley went out the 9 role and playing Phil Foden. Anthony was a disjointed or was hindered by a well-organized Greece side who actually had the ball in the net. That is 5 times, only to C3 Stadium against the Greeks. Yeah. Now, of course, in other games that were really being undertaken, away from England losing, Finland lost to Ireland by 2-1. Then we had Israel and France, which actually France won by 4-1. And actually in that game, Italy was able to secure a red card. So that is quite absurd on the side of Italy. And Austria came out with Kazakhstan, and of course Kazakhstan faced it 2-0. Yes, so that is what really ill. And Latvia losing to North Macedonia by 3-0 still. Now, in today, we still have games that are going to be kick-starting off today, taking on Germany. Then Slovakia is going to be taking on Sweden. Iceland is going to be taking on Wales. And we shall be having, that is Albania. And tomorrow we shall be anticipating Bulgaria and Luxembourg taking action. Then Portugal is going to be, of course, taking in with Poland. We shall be having Switzerland with Serbia, Montenegro for today and tomorrow. Now, Owen Ferry and Grad Matt McCarthy each played what we call a bogey-free for a 9 under 62 to share the lead Thursday in the Black Desert Championship as the PGA Tour returned to Utah for the first time in 61 years. Now, Black Desert Resort had an ancient field of black lava and surrounded by the Red Rock Mountains, some 30 miles from Zion National Park. Now, in his very own statements, he actually says that, I think everybody out on this tour, when they play well, very course is going on to a lot of opportunities, but you've got to hit good shots because the greens are somewhat severe and you've got to get in the right portions and play well. This is what Norlander actually said. Now, Keith Mitchell, who missed out on the playoff last week with a 3-putt-off bogey on the last hole in Mississippi and a 60, given an exemption of his home state's first PGA Tour event since 1963. Now, Blake is making his 500th career, yes, a start of the PGA Tour. Now, McCarthy started this year on the Korn Ferry Tour and won 3 times, earning an instant promotion to the PGA Tour. Now, he had to wait until the FedEx Cup fall to get started, and this is the second tournament as we are observing. Now he had 4 twos in his card, and one of them an eagle on the reachable par for fifth. Of course, when he hit his tee shot to the 35 feet. So that is the action we are observing. Now the Black Desert Championship comes with a Masters invitation, and most of the focus this time around of the year is finishing in the top of 125 to retain a full PGA Tour card for 2025. And well, that brings us to the Nicole Scherzinger has signed a contract debut in the lead role of the Noma Desmond in a musical revival of Sunset Boulevard by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, the U.S. production set for an opening night on October 20th at the St. James Theatre follows an successful run in London West End, where Scherzinger earned an Laurence Olivier Award performance. Now, the Broadway run for Sunset Boulevard has already brought in about $1 million US. That is across the first week of its previews, and played for Lloyd Webber, Harrison, and Gavin Klein Productions are the producers. Now, Nicole Scherzinger is best known as the lead singer. If you remember a group back in time called Part Right Here, if you remember, this was way back in 2000, the CA. Now, the Pussycat Dolls was a popular group musical band shifted to unscripted TV with X Factor in the UK, Australia's Got Talent on a 7 network in Australia, and the US TV show Masked Singers in London, which earned her an Olivier Award nomination. Now, Scherzinger is on a 2 to debut in November 2024. So she's going to also be part of the cast that is going to be part of that animation known as Moana. So this is quite a huge success. Diversify your product. Like I told you of a rapper known as Lecrae, he's a gospel rap artist. Of recent, he has actually decided to do less of the music, but focus more on the fans are going to experience and going to love him the more. So after making hundreds and hundreds of podcasts, then he thinks about releasing a song, and that song actually gets mass attention because these podcasts were quite very inspirational to the people. So when he gets the numbers he needs, by the time he releases his next song solo, he actually has the numbers. So you can see the advantages of having a vast, book of movie actors that act movies, but also release music albums. We take a look at 50 Cent into the movie industry, but is also releasing music. So the movies create the market for his music. So one craft can create a market for another craft that you actually make. So Nicole Scherzinger, a whole new level. Now, still in Hollywood, let's take a look at Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate is hit with a sex discrimination lawsuit by the Disney World and Universal Orlando are set to reopen today after the Hurricane Milton batters Florida. We've had it's been all over the tabloids, all over regarding what transparent having power, and this is about 3 million. We are talking about 3 million people and businesses in blackouts and didn't have access to power. Now, the theme parks remained closed on Thursday when the hurricane was actually taking place as the companies take stock of the damage from the storm. And now the CEO said that he thinks the media did a great job for warning people regarding this hurricane that was very horrible to the people of Florida. Now, still in Hollywood, in other news, we take a look at IMAX, which has decided to hire Netflix executive Jonathan Fisher as their chief content officer. Now, IMAX is actually one of those potential international cinemas that are making rounds all over. And now they are deciding to pick a Netflix employee to actually help them when it comes to determining the direction of content, because it has content in various countries, content in African countries, in Asian countries, and actually South Korea is one of these countries, Korea, which are actually making a lot of money. Squid Game inclusive, and season 2 is on the way. If I'm not mistaken, it's already on. But I think it's on the way. I've just seen the trailer. But all this is the entertainment technologies company content strategy around Hollywood tentpoles, international movie titles, and other diversified content. This is what I'm talking about, diversification of content. Now, Fisher, most recently, Vice President of Content Strategy and Analysis, Global Films for Netflix, will be stopping Ann Globe as its new Chief Marketing Officer to oversee all brand film marketing, creative, and social media for the company. Yes. So as IMAX recovers from the pandemic era disruption to the wider exhibition industry, the company has actually looked to diversify its core slate of Hollywood blockbuster movies with localized concerts and comedy and sports events that play well in it. That play well in its giant theaters. So that is what to offer a greater, more diverse content portfolio to audiences worldwide, including more than 100 different inspiring experiences that is across Hollywood and international films, documentaries, music, sports, and gaming in 2024 alone. Now, Jonathan brings a world of proven experience that will, so congratulations to him upon his new job.
Smart 24, driving business.
3 inspired souls brought together by love are set on a life-changing journey.
This is your life, Mackenzie. It's no longer a dream.
It's just something about Mackenzie.
I'll never marry you.
Your position does not allow you to break work relationship rules.
Where choices change everything. Crossroads, weekdays at 8 p.m. on Pal Magic Prime. DSTV channel 148, GoTV channel 303.
People of Gulu, you're welcome. We are rewarding back to one of our parents who used the Momo to pay school fees.
I am Oliel Vikio Tim. I work in Manuel Junior School as the head teacher. This parent was not able to come for this award ceremony by MTN because she works in South Sudan and it's very expensive for her to come. So we are able to get the guardian who has come.
Feel very happy. Momo is good. It is not a fake program, but it is a good program.
All the schools around, we're also coming there anytime. Let our parents continue using Momo. You can decide to pay in 4 installments. We have records where schools have statements of payments to confirm payments.
Together, we're unstoppable.
If you play a game of power,
Chelsea is rich.
I didn't lie to you. I only withheld the information.
Any minute I get, I'm going to tell Charles.
Be prepared to lose it all.
I'd rather be married alive.
Damalai makes her boldest power play.
Very dramatic.
DSTV channel 148, GoTV channel 303.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Nze Nabaloga Barbara naviiridde mu Kiteezi so neeza bulijjo wano mazeewo weeks 2 mu training eno atisi nkozesa ebintu ebyaffe ebyawo n'ebya naye obuzibu bwensanze mu kuyiga kwange kuno nti kineetagisa okuba nga nina mashini okusobola okwongera okukola ebintu byange nga bwe mbiyize nga nfunye ka mashini. So neebaza aba GROW abatuteekekedde omusomo guno ne PSFU okututeekamu ssente ne batulowooza. Era obubaka bwempa basaba banteekemu obwesige ne ssente sobole okwongera omutindo gwange nga bwe nviize wano.
GROW, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
Smart 24, driving business.
Hello everyone, Happy Independence, Uganda. My name is Oyesije Clinton Liberty, Business Development at Smart 24 TV. Happy Independence once again. Today, we celebrate the strength, we celebrate the resilience, we celebrate, the unity of our nation. Happy Independence to Uganda and every one of you out there as we continue to build a future of progress, a future of peace, a future of prosperity. Happy Independence, Uganda, and celebrate it with joy.
My name is Happy James. I'm a director of study at Bright Parks Junior School. Well, independence itself is something very good. It is what Uganda obtained in 1962. Earlier on, we did not have it. In other words, we were under slavery. No one would decide on his own as an African. Actually, African children never had freedom to do whatever they would do. But then glory goes back to our governors by them that fought for the liberation of this country from the hands of the colonialists, and hence we were given an independence. We have seen the importance of this independence all over the world, benefiting even the colonialists themselves. Nowadays they come here for tour at the pace of peace and freedom. They come for study purposes. They come to exploit different other things. And we imagine if still we're under their governance, then I would have not meant what was supposed to be meant, that they would be coming to take a tour. Therefore, independence itself has done us well, urging everybody outside there, as we look forward to celebrating this day, we request us to commemorate this day as one of the most important days that Uganda has ever attained. It is a day that now today Uganda can decide, sit at the table and decide on their own. We want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much, our liberators, the ones who contributed and fought for the independence of this country. We are so glad and grateful for that. And another extension of thanks goes to the media team, that is Smart 24. Thank you so much for the great work we are doing, involving schools in different activities. Really, we are so appreciative, and we say thank you so much. Happy Independence Day.
On October 9th, 1962, Uganda celebrated its independence. But what does this journey mean for the business sector? Over the past 62 years, Uganda has transformed its economy, adapting to challenges and embracing opportunities.
Nga mwenda October nkaga mwebiri nga automatically ndi wa myaka 2 nga tuli mu bufuzi bw'abazungu tandikira mu gy'ataano mbadde mbiraba n'amaaso era nembi experience nga bwontuusa olwaleero mba nsobola okubivaluwinga nenkolaga ki bukibadde kubanga bakitaffe bwe balwana olutalo luno olw'okuleeta obwetwaze nga balwanagana n'abazungu.
So olutalo taata we yasooka odwenyigira
kaakati era eyankulembera nankwata ku mukono ntugenda twasooka Mmengo nga October 8. Endagaano ezaatondawo Uganda zaali mikono gy'abantu babiri. Omukono gwa Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda yali ayimiriddewo mu kitaawo bajjajjaawe Ssekabaka Muteesa asooka eyayita abazungu nti jangu mujje twazaalibwa nga bamuzibe naye tuleetera ku magezi ga bulaaya agiwalikidde n'abakyala ba bungereza twagala mutuleetere ku magezi agamu ag'abazungu gwe muli n'aga bulaaya n'okweyongera okumanya katonda gwe musinza kakati nno eyo olutalo gye lwava.
In the early years after independence, Uganda's economy was primarily agriculture, with coffee, tea and cotton as key exports. Local businesses began to flourish, driven by a sense of national pride.
How do you attain economic independence? As an entrepreneurship development specialist, I believe that this would be attained by people starting enterprises, running enterprises. Those enterprises create jobs. These jobs allow people to earn an income. When these people earn an income, they live well, they live better. They demand for products and services, which stimulates production. And then we see an economy growing, and then we become economically independent.
However, the rise of Idi Amin in the 1970s brought significant challenges. Political instability, nationalization of businesses, and rampant corruption crippled the economy, leading to widespread poverty.
Actually, I took this decision for the economy of Uganda. And I must make sure that every Ugandans get a fruit of independence. Since independent, actually Uganda is not yet independent, I will say that. Even when the British handed over on the 9th of October 1962, the Uganda still not yet independent. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black, and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
Would you like to get all Asians out, really, sir?
Yes, they must go to their country.
Even nationals of Uganda?
If they want to go, they are welcome to go.
What will happen to these people if they don't go by the time limit?
I think they will be sitting like they are sitting on the fire. I will tell you this. You just wait after 3 months.
What will you do to them?
Okay, you will see.
You said you wanted Uganda.
I think they will not sit comfortable here in Uganda. I will tell you this.
The early 2000s saw the rise of entrepreneurship in Uganda. Small and medium-sized enterprises became the backbone of the economy, with young entrepreneurs driving innovation across sectors.
I started when I was only making bags. But later people would come tell me that actually I don't feel comfortable carrying this specific size of a bag. Then I had to go back to the drawing board. What can we do as a team? We now brought in another line of making boxes. Each customer has tastes and preferences, and you need to take note of them, because those are the people who either determine whether you're on the market or you're out of the market.
When we were starting, not many people believed in what we were doing. They thought we were dreaming beyond our means. Because we believed in ourselves and everything we were doing, we got the entire world media come out to our farm, CNN, BBC, AFP, Reuters and so on, picking interest in what we are doing. And so also recently, government agencies are also picking interest in what we are doing. We're now working with Operation Wealth Creation, which is a government agency that helps in distribution of seedlings like cocoa and coffee.
Doing business or doing entrepreneurship is not something very easy. You should be doing something that you're really very passionate about, so that if you go into it, not just a blow will get you off the road. If something happens and if you love what you're really doing, you'll make sure you try again, especially when the money is little.
Over 50% of Ugandan youth aged 18 to 35 would like to start their own businesses. The business environment in Uganda is that it's mainly informal. It's small business, mom and pop shop. It's young people basically getting up on their own feet and just pushing out of their own energy with very little support. the rate of expansion of our population outpaces by many orders of magnitude the rate at which we can generate employment. The governments have tried to respond to these kinds of things by, say, setting up public funds to support youth. But again, the problem is that these kinds of resources don't come in the quantities that youth actually need them to do something meaningful. And the way they're structured usually is such that it doesn't support the whole process of entrepreneurial cycle.
The COVID-19 pandemic posed significant challenges, forcing many businesses to adapt or close. Yet Ugandans demonstrated remarkable resilience.
The other lesson we've learned from COVID is that it has exposed the interlinkages between sectors. We learned that the closure of any of MSME is disastrous to other related MSMEs or businesses. For example, let's take an example of a school. When you close a school, it is interdependent on very many other actors around it. You close a school, you affect those that supply stationery. You affect financial institutions that give these schools loans. You affect the transporters. You affect the food market. During the rapid assessment that EPRC undertook, we actually found, or many vendors reported that they had supplied schools and had not been paid. So the closure of the school meant that these traders could not recoup, their capital, and many were running with less capital. So you can see that just the closure of a school has many multiplier effects on other related sectors. You can actually take any other example. For example, Chikubo. When you close Chikubo, you affect the whole chain of actors that supply or depend on Chikubo for survival. You affect transporters, you affect clearing agents, you affect the importers and all that. So what does that mean? It actually tells us that any measure that targets any of the players should have this wider or bigger picture of the likely effects at the macro level and not only to that specific player.
Today, Uganda's business landscape is evolving, characterized by innovation and creativity. The youth play a vital role in shaping the future, focusing on sustainability and technology. As Uganda celebrates 62 years of independence, the journey of its business sector stands as a testament to resilience and innovation. Together, we can continue to build a prosperous future.
Yeah, man, I'm Ugandan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Esangulo kunangoli mupima otandi sorugendo nakaredi yokayimba. Esangule kunanga ndi kukubo emoto kanjirinda notangu barufufu. Esangule kunangoli no
Smart 24, driving business.
Many thanks for joining Smart Means a Business. I'm Andrew Barije and we are into our Business Insight moment. And definitely still, this is the very last hour of the show. And we started all the way at 7 a.m., but of course breaking down different insights. And now we're heading into the peak of these particular discussions. Now, we are heading to the GROW project, which is actually making quite some huge rounds. It's been a very vocal, and it's been all over the tabloids for the last many months. Now, according to the latest updates, the government of Uganda is set to increase funding of about 6 billion through the various institutions. That is as part of the ongoing effort to economically empower the women. Now, the increase comes amid the widespread concerns, complaints from the women, that is regarding the accessibility of these funds they view is quite essential for their business and livelihood in the development. Now, of course, this was addressed yesterday at the media center in regards to that. Maybe just a little brief. The GROW project is an initiative that is set to alleviate poverty. With the GROW, this goes for gender resources opportunities for women. Now, the loan program was definitely launched in 2023 in partnership with the Ugandan government by the World Bank. And of course, the initiative aims to lift the businesses for women, land acquisition, and also enable women when it comes to matters of economic resilience. Now, the program with the 5-year time frame of course, received an initial allocation of 98 billion Ugandan shillings, that is from the World Bank. Now, in the first phase of the program, 225 billion Ugandan shillings was dispersed among 5 partner banks. That is to facilitate loans for women entrepreneurs across the various districts. However, access to these funds proved challenging for many, with women reporting missing funds and difficulty securing loans. Now, the latest 6 billion Ugandan shillings addition is intended, that is to address these issues and improve fund accessibility for approved applicants. And now, of course, the key developments and project insights inclusive. Now, at recent briefing held in October 10th, the Minister of Human Settlements, Honorable Betty Amongi, joined, that is by Dr. Ruth Kasolo and John Sengendo from the Private Sector Foundation Uganda project team, provided an update on the status of the distribution of these funds. A new funding allocation. Now, Dr. Ruth Kasolo confirmed that as of tomorrow, an additional of about 6 billion will be made available. And now, of course, by the time she made this statement, it was yesterday. So today, 6 billion will have been made available to the approved banks. So the money right now, as we speak, it's available in the different banks. So any woman out there, it's important to go to the GROW project, of course, offices, and get to find out what is the criteria for you to access these funds. 6 billion has been distributed across the various financial institutions. It's about six banks. Because we know there are those major banks which majority of the indigenous Ugandans really find easy to use their services at. So the money has been dispersed, so it would be quite very wonderful if the women actually took the initiative to also play their part and receive this money. Now, of course, still further, like I say, Dr. Ruth Kasolo confirmed that as of today, an addition of 6 billion has been already dispersed in the different financial institutions. Now, of course, we have also the land mortgage policy adjustment, where Dr. Kasolo stated that moving forward, the GROW project team aims to end the requirement for land mortgages within 2 months, alleviating a significant barrier for women seeking these funds. And also we see the aspect of support in equipment procurement. John Sengendo added that the program is looking to supply government-provided equipment to support women-owned businesses. Now, this approach will definitely reduce upfront costs for equipment acquisition, further easing the financial burden when it comes to loan acquisition and the different loan recipients in this country. Now, of course, still another aspect to really take a look into here is the financial impact and the beneficiaries. Now, when participating in the GROW program, it has been assessed that the loan amounts are ranging between 4 million Ugandan shillings to about 20 million Ugandan shillings, depending on the business that you are actually doing. And there is need for also approval of the project, of the business that you are actually intending to borrow money to execute. So these are aspects that need to be really looked into. So far, the program has shown impactful insights, with several districts receiving these allocations, just like you have been witnessing on your screen with what the districts that have actually been in position to get some of these funds. Now, of course, still we need to understand the program's goals and vision. Of course, with the addition of funds and proposed policy changes, the GROW project intends to streamline loan access and also empower more women to participate in Uganda's economic landscape. Now, the Ministry of Human Settlements and Private Sector Foundation Uganda emphasized that these initiatives are designed not only to increase women's financial independence, but also to contribute to Uganda's broad economic development. Now, this funding increase and policy alignment underscore the government's commitment, that is to women empowerment, acknowledging the essential role and play a pivotal role in fostering economic stability and also growth at both local and national levels. So let us see how really that will come about. Now, there is also another interesting discussion that has actually been in Parliament recently. This was just yesterday. This is in line with the Youth Vocational Training Program, which is actually under scrutiny as members of Parliament challenge government's resource allocation. What is the priority for this government when it comes to allocating resources? Now, the Parliamentary Promises Committee recently questioned officials from Uganda's Ministry of Kampala and Presidential Palace regarding the government's youth training program, expressing concerns over alleged bias in program implementation. Now, the committee chaired by Honorable Abed Treasury asserted that the program predominantly benefits the supporters of the national resistance movement. This is what they believe. Now, the government investment in youth vocational training, the Ugandan government allocated about 1.7 billion Ugandan shillings to establish vocational training facilities, that is across 20 regions. Now, this was with an aim to reduce youth unemployment through skilled development in areas such as Teso, Lango, Bukedi, Busoga, and Central Buganda. Now, the initiative aligns with Uganda's National Development Plan, that is 3, targeting a reduction in the national unemployment rate by 9.2% by equipping the youth with essential skills for job creation and economic growth. Now, however, the members of Parliament raised concerns over the program's management, particularly regarding infrastructure and resource allocation. Now, they noted issues with missing or non-functional equipment, a lack of electricity in some areas, and perceived favoritism in program access. Now, additionally, with over 77% of Uganda's population under 30, members of Parliament urged that these vocational training centers could significantly impact national productivity, but require transparent and equitable implementation. Now, key concepts from the committee. This is what was actually being discussed, part of the key concepts. Limited transparency, as the members of Parliament questioned the clarity of how funds were allocated and managed. Of course, calling for an audit to assess and the actual disbursement and the usage of the 1.7 billion Ugandan shilling. Now, of course, there is also the aspect of regional disparities, as the committee highlighted the challenge of access with some training centers actually located in remote areas very far from the urban centers, now making it difficult for potential trainees to definitely participate. So you can see why the members of Parliament really had a point to pass across when for this particular training. Now, there is also the concept of operational gaps, of course, where the members of Parliament were able to observe that actually several facilities were either non-functional due to the missing equipment or lack of electricity, undermining the program's efficiency capabilities. Yeah, that is something which was also being observed, the operational gaps. Yes. Now, government's response in line with this. Now, in response, the Deputy Minister of Kampala, Honorable Kabuye Chofatogabye, refuted the allegations, calling the accusations surprising and unfounded, according to him. Now, he warned that any evidence and fraud would result in severe consequences, emphasizing the government's commitment to equitable resource distribution. Now, of course, State House Controller Jen Bareke also defended the program, insisting that it is open to all youth regardless of political affiliation. This is what he said, and encouraging community members to definitely engage with training opportunities within their regions. Now, the vocational training has proven effective, actually, in lowering unemployment rates in countries like Kenya, Rwanda, where such programs contributed to reduction of unemployment rate by 5%. So the question is, are we on the right track in terms of embarking on this? It's working in Kenya, it's working in Rwanda. 5% is a big deal if we're talking about reduction in unemployment. So this is something that has proven to work in other countries. So every year, 5% unemployment rate in Kenya. So every year Kenyans, the unemployment rate in Kenya, Rwanda, reduces by 5% on an annual basis. So this is clearly that it will work out. Yeah. Now, still as we proceed, however, Uganda's program faces challenges in implementation. Now, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, youth unemployment remains high, affecting nearly 40% of Ugandan youth. Now, for vocational training to foster economic empowerment effectively, it definitely requires certain perspectives to be really put into absolute consideration. Now, one of them is adequate infrastructure, of course, with reliable equipment, access to electricity, and well-located urban centers will be very crucial. And transparent fund allocation. We definitely can't talk about this and not mention about the transparency when it comes to fund allocations. Now, regular audits and clear reporting on fund disbursement will be a potential reduction into the potential corruption within this arrangement. So, something to be looked into keenly. And of course, there is also the aspect of inclusive policies in regards to ensuring equal access of training regardless of political affiliation. Yes, equal access to training opportunities regardless of your political affiliation is crucial for community trust and the program success. So we hope that it really works out for the good in that regard. And we see what new developments are going to be done in terms of the vocational training. Remember, as we've been celebrating our 62 years of independence, there is a huge belief by some of the elites of this country that what the British actually did for Uganda was great, because at that time we had leaders that were backed, that were well-backed, Dr. Milton Obote, of course, being one of those foundation, and so many more, which, of course, if I'm to start to mention names, I would actually spend a whole hour to mention this. But we had leaders that came out of the British system well-backed. But the only challenge is that what foundation or what kind of a blueprint was left for the future leaders? That's the big question. Because to me, it feels like the early leaders, perhaps, they got the first-class British training, which was also relevant in the British society at that time. But however, the future leaders, this generation, the millennials, the Gen Zs, and so many more, the blueprint of leadership that is into their possession is actually not relevant depending on the current trends. It's not relevant at all. So the curriculum, the education system. So when we talk about the vocational training, it's one of the aspects if we are talking about advancing from one curriculum heading to another curriculum. So this is something with vocational training, it's one of the ways we can actually be in position to achieve this. When you go to countries like China, in most cases, China, the UK, the United States, it's largely about what can you do? What value can you add to someone's company? So what skill, in other words, do you have? It's just largely in Africa where we still have issues in line with, of course, the documentation, which is important. It is important. I'm not saying it's not important to actually get these documents. But the question is of what value are they to you in person? And does that value reflect back to the society? The value from the documents to you, and then you reflect that value back to the society. It's quite rare with this current education system. So reforms are quite would be of a great benefit, or it could be a huge deal in adapting to this. Now, this is so real to the extent that most of the policy makers make these policies largely based on the British ancient setting, which is not actually relatable to the African situation. We are different. We have different characters. We respond differently to different calls. Okay, now as I wind up this report, now let me go to the WOBOS issue, where the Attorney General was to investigate the WOBOS issue over the census report. Now, of course, on October 3rd, WOBOS released the May 2024 census findings, which were presented by WOBOS head doctor, that is Chris Mukiza, which indicated Uganda's population as 45.9 million. However, within just a few days, WOBOS publicly came out and acknowledged in some areas of the report, citing minor mistakes, prompting public sensitization about the accuracy and reliability of these figures. Now, following the correction, Kamya declared that her office would actually collaborate in full investigation of WOBOS's processes and methodologies, aiming to ensure transparency and accountability. And now she noted that national census conducted every 10 years receives substantial government funding, and thus she expressed surprise and concern over apparent lapses in the census data, calling them unacceptable. Now, the Attorney General referenced previous concerns, including the 2022 investigation revealing that WOBOS employees allegedly mismanaged nearly 1 billion Ugandan shillings, rather. And now she stated that her office had since recovered approximately 70% of these funds, but warned that such financial mismanagement could not continue happening unchecked. Yeah, so this is something that was witnessed back in 2022. Now, public confidence and the role of the government in this line, the IGG stressed the importance of the reliable data to guide national, and emphasizing that government's commitment to transparency and efficient service delivery is essential to public confidence. Now, to end this, she noted the government's dedication to enhancing public services, that is through initiatives like Uganda's upcoming celebrations of the Ombudsman Day are scheduled for November 6th. Of course, traditionally celebrated on the second Thursday in October globally. And of course, Uganda's celebrations will focus on educating its citizens about their rights to government services and promoting the resolution of conflicts between the individuals and the public officers. And well, that is it in regards to this report. And maybe just something to understand here. A transparent and accurate census is crucial for development of any country, but particularly this time we are talking about Uganda because it impacts budgeting, talking about planning, international relations, and also when it comes to policy making. But according to the World Bank, Uganda's population growth rate stands at about 3.32 annually, and accurate population data is vital for ensuring that resources are actually proportionately located across sectors like healthcare, talking about education, infrastructure, and so many more. And additionally, our projections indicate that Uganda's population could reach over 55 million come 2030 if current growth trends persist. And of course, underlining the absolute need for effective demographic planning today. And that is it for today's edition of Smart Means Business. Thanks for being part of it from all the way we kick started. It's exactly 19 minutes as we speak right now to the top of the hour of 10 a.m. And wishing you a very wonderful weekend. Go back, strategize, see how best you can be able to make the best business decisions as for the following week. Personally, I'm wishing you a very amazing weekend full of happiness, insightfulness, and of course, knowledge seeking, and so many more. And also on that note, wishing you a very wonderful morning. See you on Monday.